That's kind of a Joe Pass style lick, chromatic to augmented. 7 sharp, 5 sharp, 9. I put some 11s on this LH280, the lower. It just sounds great. It's a little easier to play. These are really a lot. This is a lot of guitar for $4.99. I mean, listen to that tone. Flat 9, gypsy scale. But what I want to talk about is the guitar ladder system for just intermediate and advanced, or can it also work for beginners? So let me just address that and be really blunt about it and clear about it, so if you want to get involved, you know what to expect. While I designed the guitar ladder system more for intermediate and advanced players, if you're a beginner and you don't want to spend forever down here with cowboy chords, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I love a good Neil Young song, I love a good Bob Dylan song, and there's a lot of merit to that. But my point just being, you know, I'll give you an 8-year membership, and I reduce the price of the course for 30 days to $149, so this is a great time to come in. But my point just being, if you're willing to be super patient, you're willing to be positive, you don't overanalyze the material, you don't get nervous if you end up working on cycle 1 for a month or 2 months or even longer, because the same energy it takes to do a chord down here, you can do a chord down here. Actually, the frets are a little bit closer as you move up, so, but it's not that much harder to work on my studies. Plus, with an 8-year membership, you got the time. But here's the advantage. If you can just have a positive attitude, and like according to the science of neuroplasticity, don't focus on results, just be in the now. They've proven that when you're just in the now and don't focus on results, your subconscious mind has an open switch and a save switch. It's just amazing. The subconscious mind, folks, is a giant. My guitar ladder system wakes up your musical ear. My guitar ladder system seeds your subconscious mind so that those seeds grow and sprout. You begin to hear musical ideas on a deeper level. You begin to hear your own unique musical point of view. Sure, that doesn't happen overnight. That's why it's important to stick with the system for at least a year before you even think about it. I'm serious. But if you're a beginner and you're willing to be patient, and you know, it might be a little bit of a struggle doing some of these cycles, but it doesn't matter how fast you play them. It doesn't matter, you don't have to analyze them, you don't have to pick them apart, you just play them. Like cycle 1, you're automatically gonna begin to understand smooth voice leading and how to begin to create a chordal vocabulary. It's the chordal vocabulary, which is musical, which my studies are, which really creates a quantum leap in growth. Even Joe Pass told me that when I studied with him when I was 22, and I'm 65 now. No, he didn't put it quite that way. Joe Pass was not the most verbal person in the world. Folks, it takes a lot of hard work to be a great guitar teacher. It doesn't just fall into your lap. And I hate to say, there's a lot of great teachers out there, but there's a lot of lazy guitar teachers out there, unfortunately. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but if you're teaching guitar, spend some time on your material. Really, it takes a lot of work to have great material. I know there's some great teachers out there. I'm not saying there's not, but it's just, I just talked to a guy this morning on the phone who's a beginner who's going to buy my guitar ladder system, and you know, he mostly paid $20 a half an hour to watch the guy play guitar. You know, a lot of them just kick back. So you got to find a good teacher, and you know, it's rare to find a good young teacher. It takes many. My wife's a great guitar teacher, and she's a little bit younger than me. I think she's around 62. I'm 65. But it's really, I've got over 30 years into developing the guitar ladder system. But my point is, if you're willing to be patient and just play, slowly play my chord studies, and don't get nervous if you're playing them, or don't get negative about the system. Even if you're playing them like this, and then you take for a long time to get to the next chord, and then you take a long time to get to this chord, and you have to push hard, it's okay. You're still going to get huge benefits. You're going to start waking up your subconscious mind. You're going to start waking up your musical ear. you're going to start planting seeds. I guess I could use the word programming your musical mind, your subconscious mind. You're going to start planting seeds even when you're not playing guitar that are going to start hooking together different ideas, and you'll start just hearing, like it happens to me all the time. I'll just start hearing something musical that's my own idea, and then I'll find it now, and sometimes that will turn into a composition. That doesn't happen overnight either. I've taken up to a year to write a song, some quicker. I don't worry about the time element, but my point just being, if you're willing to have a positive attitude, if you're willing to be a little challenged and not expect it to be easy all the time, and one of the best things you can do as a beginner, by the way, is just simple little exercises like this. Sit or any type of scale you can think of, whether it's pentatonic or whatever, different forms of that, just single note, and you can just make up things. Like I said, you can just do 4 notes across the string. The more scales you can do to get the elasticity going, and it's good for your left hand and right hand. But the answer is, if you're a beginning guitar player, you can just play a few chords and stuff. Yeah, you can get a huge benefit from the guitar ladder system, because you begin to learn the vocabulary of music while you're still getting your dexterity and learning other things. You begin to learn musical sentences. You begin to kind of upload, so to speak, ideas into your musical mind that it begins to compare and contrast. And like I made a list of the 10 systems of improvisation, which are included inside my cycles, but there's really no reason for me to spend an hour talking about each one, and I don't need to do that in my guitar ladder system, because it's all included in the system. And the whole key to learning guitar and learning art is much different than learning how to rebuild a car engine, or learning how to buy a piece of furniture from IKEA and step 1 through 30. But some of them are like diatonic, symmetry, intervallic, contrary motion, secondary dominant, flat 5 sub, chromatic, chordal harmony, common tone, smooth voice leading, color shifting, minor third, which comes under intervallic. But all that stuff is covered in my guitar ladder system, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing to learn how to play like 1, 6, 2, 5s and all different keys and whatnot. But my point here is, if you're a beginner and you don't want to just spend months down here doing this or playing, and I love Neil Young, by the way. I love Bob Dylan, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some beautiful music they wrote, and Bob Dylan, of course, was a prolific poet as well. But my point just being, yeah, if you're a beginner and you're willing to be positive and have a good attitude and not rush, I'm going to give you 8 years membership anyway, and I've discounted it down for 30 days at $149. You can order at steves@guitars.com. But if you're willing to be patient, just stay positive. You don't focus on results. You do begin to know my studies. It's so beneficial, because you're going to start, seeding your musical mind and learning that, a bi-chord can connect a major 13 flat 5. That can connect a 7 flat 13, connect a 13 with your contrary motion. And it really will give you a big leap. It doesn't mean you're only going to work on my guitar ladder stuff. But and the best thing to do too, if you're working my guitar ladder system, is, like I said, don't focus on results. If you need more material, email me. Some people forget that I tell them in the beginning, I don't send it all at once. You need to hit me up every 3 or 4 weeks or whatever for another study. But folks, this really works. I've sold over 9,000 courses. I've sold courses to guys with master's degrees in music, and they said, Steve, I'm in a box. I can't improvise or compose. I've got thousands and thousands of hours and years and years and years of experience, and a lot of hard work and a lot of experimentation with students to come up with my guitar ladder system. But when I started seeing guitar students it really almost seemed like supernatural growth. We're both kind of scratching our heads. It was almost kind of scary. That's when I knew I really had something, and that was the result of, like I said, over 30 years, a lot of research, a lot of hard work, and coming up with musical sentences that automatically give you the information you need to begin to understand musical ideas, musical vocabulary, begin to hear and discover your own unique musical point of view. Let me repeat that. You can begin to hear and discover your own musical point of view. Does it take time? Of course it takes time. How long? I don't know. Everybody's a little bit different. If I sat here and told you, oh yeah, like most marketing people, oh yeah, within I consider myself an artist, by the way, not a marketing person, but hey, I have to communicate, the different components of my product, right? But if I sat here and said, oh yeah, within, 25 days, then I'm full of shit, and I'm not full of shit. I know what I'm doing, folks. You can go to Vintage Guitar Magazine, vintageguitar.com, read the review of my CD by Mr. Steven Stone, who's actually bought 3 or 4 guitars from me, he called me a prodigious composer and player in that write-up review of my CD, which really means the world to me. He's a really cool guy, really sharp guy too. You can listen to some of my music at stevezook1.bandcamp.com. That's stevezook1 dot, like a little dot, bandcamp.com, or stevezook1, yeah, stevezook1 dot, just a little dot, not dot, stevezook1.bandcamp.com. But if you're a beginner and you want to, obtain some musical growth much quicker than if you just stay a beginner for the next year and a half, slowly eke into intermediate stage, you're going to be way ahead of the game, because you're inputting information. You're seeding your subconscious mind with musical sentences. You're learning a musical vocabulary. You're learning how to create tension and resolution. You're learning how to speak in terms of chordal sentences that are musical, that do incorporate the 10 different systems of improvisation. But art is different. Like I said, you're going to learn to listen and learn to discover and learn to hear your own musical ideas. Nothing feels better than begin. Even like today, I was talking to a guy on the phone who's going to order my system pretty soon. He was saying how he's starting to noodle around on the guitar, and then once in a while he hears something, it sounds like the beginning of a song, and he's going to get the system, and he's really going to go through some growth. But again, better not to watch the water boil. But yeah, you just learn musical sentences. In fact, I've even had students, and even myself, tell me they've ran into a standard. They just started doing chords and progressions, and they could hear, oh, that sounds a lot like a standard, and then they just came up with their own arrangement. Does that happen overnight? Of course not, but it can happen. But anyway, and just to share something, because I always like to share a little something when I do these videos. But yeah, if you're a beginner, you can get a huge advantage by jumping into the guitar ladder system now. Still good to do a lot of scales and things, get dexterity. But it's really important if you want to give yourself an edge, and you want to give yourself the ability to begin to evolve your musical mind and begin to feed your musical ear, begin to feed your musical mind, begin to learn musical sentences. This is huge, folks. Like I said, I was telling James on the phone today, I came from a really musical family. We're all artists. My mom was one of the world's best classical piano teachers in the world. They used to call her Dr. Zook, and they used to send her all over the world to help out with music classes and things. She really knew her stuff, and I think it's in the genes with me. But I also was taught the value of hard work. My mom worked real hard to be the top of her field, and I just love music and guitar. So, plus I wanted to keep her off my back, so I'd practice 12 hours a day. But anyway, she went to the Big Cheeseburger in the Sky about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a pretty long, drawn-out process. But hey, I don't really believe we die. Energy just transfers over. That's a whole nother rap, right? But yeah, if you're a beginner and you really want to begin to learn musical sentences, begin to seed your subconscious mind, begin to build up your musical ear, you'd like to discover your own musical ideas within and find them on the guitar, this is probably the only system that's really going to do that for you, because it's designed in a way to cooperate and respect with the subconscious mind. This is huge. It's kind of like musical meditation, learning how to, like meditation is about listening to the universe. Well, my guitar ladder system is kind of a musical meditation. You input the right information in the right way, you begin to hear, and you begin to hear ideas, and you begin to hear your own musical ideas. You begin to discover your own musical point of view, and start to reflect it. It's no better high on the planet. Anyway, folks, this guitar is for sale too. It really, like I said, they come with 12s. I put 11s on it. It really sounds good. Anyway, so, but yeah, this bi chord is such a nice chord in it. To major 13 flat 5. Lately I've been doing a lot of this, doing this like 9 form. Like you do it like this. And then with the bottom part of your finger you pick up the sharp 11, so it gives you a little color. I could always do it like this. Drop the 9. Major 13 flat 5. But anyway, I want to make this video a little bit shorter. But yeah, this guitar is available, as you can hear. solid state amp. Anyway, the weather's been like going from hot to not so hot, and then that changed. Plus these strings are stretching out. But anyway, this is available $4.99. It sounds incredible because the layers. Like I was telling the sales manager of the Music Link, who's been a friend of mine for over 10 years, we talk all the time, that they use thicker layers on these LH280s. They use a little bit thicker layers than like what most 175 style guitars, and you can tell it adds a little bit of an L5 thing to the little of an L5 type sound to the 175. These are really great. Like I ordered another one of these because I've been playing this one. I've got a little bit of pick scratches, very subtle from my fingers, and you know, if you're worried about it, maybe this one isn't for you. But I just love playing this so much. I want to buy another one to sell, and I'm just going to play this one. I could go out and buy a guitar for $3,000, but there's no reason to. I mean, I don't think spending a lot of money is worth it anymore for guitars. It's just not worth it. So, all right, folks, take care. And yeah, if you're a beginner or an intermediate level player or advanced level player, you really want to have some huge growth. Like I said, I've sold my course to people with master's degrees in music. But if you want to have some growth and begin to discover, you know, your musical point of view, and it's huge. You know, you're just going to really get a lot of joy out of your playing. And that's what it's all about. It's a never-ending process. I'm still learning. You're still learning. We're all still learning. I was lucky enough to work my butt off and listen through a lot of meditation and a lot of hard work to come up with a guitar ladder system. I really have something extremely special. I've got something that works here, folks. It really does work, and I just lowered the price to $149. You can buy it at stevesguitars.com. You do not need to be a member of PayPal. That's just a pentatonic to a major 13. All right, folks, take care. Let's stay positive. The world's kind of crazy right now. I still believe the universe is perfect by design, but that's a whole nother wrap. But just stay positive and just try to stay with your joy. Don't spend time focusing on too many negative thoughts. Don't spend too much time focusing on crazy things going on in the world. There's a lot of bullshit right now, but let's just stay positive and focus on things that are beautiful, like nature, you know, beautiful child, playing music, you know, things that are real, that are never going to go away. So, you know, learn to focus on your joy within. I believe in daily meditation is something that can really help your guitar playing as well as not partying too much and trying to be as healthy as you can. I exercise every day. I work out with weights. It really helps. All right, I do light weights, by the way. I don't want you guys hurting your back. All right, folks, take care, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Ciao.